Hello, we are back again, and actually again because I recorded this video once and it didn't work. So, as you see here, I have two problems covering functions and equations, but specifically looking at when we have decimals in them. As you see, I've already done all of these problems because I already recorded this video. So, hopefully, just talking you through this is going to be enough to click. Let me know if I need to do something more. Alright, so here we go. For number 1, I have y equals x plus 1.5. Alright? So for this problem, what you're going to do is you're going to test values and you're going to plug them in just like you would for any normal problem. The only tricky thing is that it has decimals in it. Okay? So I have here a table. Okay? In this table, I'm testing 3 different values. I'm going to test 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so what I do is I plug them in. So right, if I'm testing x when it's 0, I plug in 0 for x and I get 0 plus 1.5. Well, that's going to equal 1.5. So I write that in for my y, and then in this third column of my table, I wrote the ordered pair. Remember, ordered pairs are x compared to y, all right, because that's what our coordinate plane is going to track. Okay. So for number 2, I'm testing for x equals 1, right? I plug it in. X equals 1, so it's 1 plus 1.5. That's going to equal 2.5. So I plug that in, right? Y equals 2.5. And then I plug in my ordered pair. 2, I have 2 down here, so 2 plus 1.5. And that's going to equal 3.5. So I plug that in. And then I get 2 and 3.5. It's a little hard to see the dots because I've already made the line. But here's how I would graph this, right? When x is 0, that means I don't go over any on the x-axis. Y will be 1.5. So I need to go up to 1, and then I need to go halfway between 1 and 2 because it's 1.5, right? That dot is right there, right? Roughly. I'm making them really big, but you can kind of see them. Okay? Number 1, I count, or for x equals 1, it's 1 and 2.5. So it's 1 over. I go up 1, 2, and then 2.5. Okay? That was my point. And then for the next one, I go over 2, or I think I said 2 the last time. I went over 1 the last time. Go over 2 this time, and I go up 3, and it needs to be between 3 and 4, right? Because it's 3.5, so that was right there. Okay? For number 2, this one is tricky because the decimal is with the variable. So x is being multiplied by 0.25, okay, and then we're adding 1. And I think this one's kind of intuitive, right? Easy to grasp because when we talk about quarters in money, well, a quarter is 0.25, right? It's 25 cents. Okay, so this one is actually pretty intuitive, easy for you to grasp. Alright, so for the first problem here, I'm testing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If I'm to plug these in, right, I'd be y equals 0.25 multiplied by 0 plus 1. Well, anything times 0 is 0, so that's going to end up just being 1, because it's going to be 0 plus 1. Okay, and that's what I got here. And then from there I say, well, if I'm testing it for 1, well, y equals 0.25 multiplied by 1 plus 1. Okay, so, well, any number times 1 is the same number, so it's going to be y equals 0.25 plus 1. That gets us to y equals 1.25. Okay? Alright, and that's how we got our 1.25. Now, going through here a little quicker, well, if I'm plugging in 2, I'd plug in 2 here, and so it'd be 0.25 multiplied by 2. Well, think of it like quarters again. Okay, if I have 2 quarters, I have 50 cents. So 50 cents plus $1, okay, is 150. Okay, now for 3 times 0.25, it's going to be 75. Okay, 0.75. Add that to 1. That's 1.75. And then finally 4, right? 4 quarters is $1. So 0.25 multiplied by 4 is 1 whole. 1 whole plus 1 whole is 2. Okay? So that's how I got my values. I have my ordered pairs. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to plot this graph. So I have x equals 0, so I don't go over any to the right. But y is 1, so I go up here. For the next one, I have 1 and 1.25. That means I go over to 1, and then I go to 1.25, right? 0.25 is a fourth, right? So I'm 1/4 of the way between 1 and 2. The next one is 2 and 1.5, or 1.50, depending on how you wrote it. So I need to go up to 1, and then I need to go halfway between 1 and 2. Okay, for the next one, when x is 3, y is 1.75, which means I should be 3/4 of the way up. And then finally for 4 is 2. So that should be right kind of in the crosshairs, right, where those lines form a perpendicular intersection. So there you have it. I hope those examples, even though you didn't necessarily get to see them completely worked out, I hope that those helped explain what you would do for problems like that.